What do you say, everybody? And Roll Tide, it is game week. Yeah, we're here. We're to that point now where we're going to actually talk about a matchup, Alabama and Florida State, that kicks off on Saturday. We've waited a long time to get to this point. Our show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Had a blast there last week, hanging out at the Timeout Sports Lounge. 20 big screen TVs, full-size bar. They have a window and individual kiosks, and the regular kiosks get a great time out there. It's an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. We'll talk more about Pearl River as the show progresses. But we're going to talk Bama and Florida State, and we're going to do it right after we get this show started with the Open. Roll Tide. All right, there's my tag team partner, Alphonse Taylor. You know him as Shank. I'm Mick Gillespie. Thank you guys for being here. Shank, I know you had a big week with your Davidson football offensive line, a lot of pancakes, and now you get high school football and Alabama football. So congratulations on a 1-0 start in high school and Roll Tide.
Man, that's a big Roll Tide to that. Started the season off well. In true Shank fashion, I think I'd like to say, because we had over 350 yards rushing as a team, man. So it was a beautiful thing to see. It was just bodies flying everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Kick out block after kick out block. It was my brand of football, man. It was my brand of football. It was an old school brand of Davidson football that I was happy that we could bring back. Man, and it just felt good. It always feels good learning lessons after a win instead of a loss, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
that's awesome, man.
Hey, it is. But I'm excited for Bama, dog. It's game week. We finally here. It's been a long off season, a lot of what ifs, a lot of questions. And we get to get some answers this weekend, dog. So I'm fired up about that.
Yeah, me too. Let me throw this up here and let me get you started on this first topic, right? Bama plays Florida State and they play Wisconsin in the non-conference, right? These are mega matchups. I know Florida State lost a lot of games last year, but the year before that, they were really good.
Right.
Going to Tallahassee is not an easy spot. Last year went to Wisconsin. Now Wisconsin comes to Tuscaloosa. Are these matchups good for Bama? Because they were left out of the college football playoff last year. Didn't feel like they weighted that very heavily. Now, I know they're changing the formula this year, but is it, when you play in the SEC, is it good matchups for Bama to play these guys?
I mean, me personally, I think so. Because before you get into SEC play, man, you got to kind of gauge where you are. And so when we play these Florida States and Wisconsins early on, who have traditionally been really good teams, especially first games of the season, it only helps us, man. And, with the way things are set up now, if you're going to play these good out-of-conference teams, let's play them early, because losses early don't impact you as much, right? You get a chance to make up for that. And so I think they're good for us to kind of gauge what we have as a team and where we are to start the season. Because we all know, man, like, camp is good. Camp gets you prepared, but at the end of the day, you're still going against each other. Like, you're not going to give your teammate 100% that you'd give an opponent, right? And so, in playing these matchups, I think it gets the guys fired up and it gets them ready to go. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, you go through a whole summer and go through camp, you're not going to be fired up to play Middle Tennessee State first game of the season. And you know what I'm saying? So to have those Florida States, those Wisconsins, that means something. You get those guys going, man. So I think we need that. It's big time.
Look, I agree with you. I mean, I think that's what we want. We wanted marquee matchups. It's the College Football Playoff Committee's fault for not evaluating those matchups and making them worth more. I think that's going to change. But if college football wants to have these type of matchups, they better not let another year go by where they reward these teams for not playing tough non-conference games. And when you go to Tallahassee, and we're going to be there, we've deemed this the Coker Bowl, by the way, and you can see the Coker Bowl logo there at the bottom. We got both Cokers. We got the Alabama Coker, the young the young Florida State Coker, the backup to the national championship quarterback. And then we got the guy that graduated into a champion at quarterback. And we're going to be at Bowden's in Tallahassee on Friday to record the tailgate show. So if you guys are going, come by and see us. 1 to 3 will be there recording the tailgate show. But I'm with you. I want these matchups. And now they're talking about we're going to 9 SEC regular season games. I like that idea too. The better the matchup, the more good college football we're going to get, as long as the playoff committee doesn't punish teams for going out and playing these type of games.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing. When you start punishing teams for having these big-time matchups and playing these good teams early on in the season, teams that they righteously just don't even have to play, I mean, you can guarantee the strength of schedule is going to come into play later on down the road when they're starting to schedule these games. And so if you're telling me I can make it to the playoffs without having to play these big-time programs out of conference, and I can just stick to playing my non-conference games and going undefeated there. Well, what's stopping me from not just scheduling Middle Tennessee States, Georgia Southerns, and all these smaller schools who we absolutely know that Bama has no business playing, right?
Right.
And so it has to be some balance here, man. It has to be some balance. All right, we've extended the playoffs to get more teams in. That's something everybody wanted. And now that we're here, now some of the lesser teams are being rewarded for playing these less than lackluster schedules that they
Right.
have. SMU, for per se, you look at them last season. Who did they really play, and who did they really beat to warrant them being in the playoffs?
Amen.
And then you get them in the playoffs, and they just look like a guppy in a pool full of sharks. And so, man, no offense to them, but that's just the honest truth. Because at the end of the day, when these big time programs play these out of conference games, it's because they need to evaluate their team. They need to see how good they stack up against actual competition. And so we can't reward, these experimental games. I think they are, because that's what they are. They're trying to see where your team is and see what you need to work on in hopes to make a run later on in the season. And so, man, they can't make it a bad thing to schedule these games, or it's only going to hurt the college football product in the long run, I believe. Because just think about how often we argued strength of schedule before we expanded the
Right.
playoff picture, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
just think about how important that was to your season. It's just like, all right, you're Alabama. Being Alabama isn't good enough anymore. Who are you playing? What teams
Right.
are you playing against? Like, where are those teams ranked? How do those teams stack up once the season's over? You know what I'm saying? Because they put us up against USC's first game of the season. We beat them, and then they're not really that good. Well,
Right.
they were ranked to start the season, right? So how is that our problem, man? And so man, they got to keep a watchful eye on this and be careful of what they're doing going forward, because at the end of the day, each institution is going to do what's best for their program.
That's right.
And so if not playing these Florida States and Wisconsin is what's best for Alabama, then you can see that change coming up in the near future.
Yeah. Hey, guys, join us on Avenue D. Stay connected. Join what they're calling it Mick Nation. Use that QR code there. We got tickets for Wisconsin, 2 sets of tickets for Wisconsin. So go in there, register. It's all free, right? They'll ask you for your email address, send you a code, you get in, pick the score of the Alabama and Florida State game, pick the score of the Alabama and Louisiana Monroe game, and then we're gonna give away 2 sets of tickets for Bama, Wisconsin right here, and other great prizes as well, some hats and some shirts and some other stuff too. All right, let me ask you this right here. What do you think Bama needs to do to win the SEC? And I know, because if you win the SEC, you're getting into the college football playoff, and then
Right.
you kind of get into that. But I feel like you win the SEC, that means you're beating Texas, you're beating Georgia, you're beating Ole Miss, you're beating LSU, and who knows who else pops up in this picture. But as of today, we haven't played a game yet. What does Alabama need to do to win the SEC?
Yeah, man, we gotta take it one game at a time, and we gotta win. I mean, you gotta win. You gotta win the games that some people feel don't matter. And so you're talking SEC play. We can't lose to Oklahoma. We can't lose to your Vanderbilts. We got to get back on the schedule when it comes to Tennessee. You have to win the games you're supposed to win decisively, and man, we have to go in with some type of identity.
Yeah.
We have to have some type of identity for who we are as a team and what we plan to accomplish offensively. Because I don't think defense was the issue last year.
Mm-mm.
I just think we were lackluster offensively, weren't where we should have been compared to other years, without a doubt. And so when you're talking about the SEC, Ole Miss, that's a high-powered offense. We got to be able to put points on the board. Vanderbilt, I consider them a high-powered offense. We couldn't outscore them, and so eh, they ran a damn shovel pass however many times
Yeah.
that he couldn't stop for some reason. Um, your Tennessee's, man. I mean, we got to be the hungriest dogs in the pack, man. Simple as
Yeah.
that. Simple as that. Well, us having 9 conference games now, they basically want the SEC to eat each other. They want dog to eat dog. And so at the end of the day, we're going to have to create an identity as a team, be able to stick to those guns and be the better team come Saturday, even if it's not pretty. We just got to find a way to win. And I don't think we did that pretty good last year. We games got tough. They were close in the end, and we just couldn't pull them out. Mistakes were made. Whatever the case may be, man. But we have to come out, be the hungrier team, have some type of identity offensively, and continue to build on what we were doing defensively last year. And I think we come out on top. Because the
Mm.
SEC is stacked, man. SEC has continuously gotten better over the past few years. And I think we're right there in the mix per usual, and I think we're still the standard. So
Well, we got a big matchup against Florida State coming, and we're going to be down there. I mentioned that before with the tailgate show Friday at Bowden's, which is named after Bobby Bowden. I love the logo. It's got Bobby Bowden's hat on it. We got to get Saban's restaurant, right? Bears
oh,
restaurant.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
when I look at this matchup, right? The thing to me is like they went and got Guz Malzahn. How about where college football is now? This guy was a head coach
Yeah.
at a pretty decent program, right? Was like Central Florida and doing a decent job. Quits that job to be a coordinator at Florida State because those coordinator jobs now are more valuable than the head coaching jobs because of the NIL situation and not a level
Right.
playing field. You'd rather go be an offensive coordinator somewhere where you have resources.
Right.
This guy gave Alabama trouble. And Auburn made a mistake when they fired him. They should have never done that. And now he's the Florida State offensive coordinator. 4 guys that are new on the offensive line that transferred in, a new quarterback. What is the Guz Malzahn factor in this game?
Is there a DB at quarterback? Uh, do they have a transfer defensive back playing quarterback? If they don't have a Nick Marshall, then we're fine.
Right.
Then we're fine. Because I don't know what voodoo magic Gus and Nick Marshall had going on that gave us problems so bad, dog. Yeah, but I mean, you know how it goes, man. Sometimes the coach has you figured out. They understand the things that work best against what you put out on the field, and so I think Gus was one of those people who had it figured out a little bit. But at the end of the day, man, I just don't think they stack up against us at Florida State. I don't think they have enough to get it done because, especially coming off the year that we had last year, I get they had a down year, yeah, but I still believe that us not being able to achieve a 10-win season and just the lack of focus that we had and just the standard wasn't in play at all, and it just didn't look like your usual Bama football team. I think it's going to be tough on Gus to go against us this year, man. Like I said, like I always say, Mick, hungry dogs run faster, and I think those kids are hungry right now. They got something to prove. They've been hearing the chatters here in the preseason,
Right.
and I think they're ready to go out and prove people wrong and just shut some people up, man. Because You know, it gets a point. It gets to a point where it's just kind of disrespectful. All the work
Yeah.
you put in and just people talking down on it, and you want to get out there and prove those people wrong. And so I don't think Gus is going to be enough to stop us from beating Florida State.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they got a new quarterback, Thomas Castellanos. They got 4 offensive linemen that transferred in. They didn't have a very successful offense last year. Bama's got a new quarterback in Ty Simpson. I feel like Bama's offensive line should be pretty good. Not going to have
Yeah.
Jam Miller, but you're going to have Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard, your 2 most explosive receivers from last year. Isaiah Horton added on to that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like Bama's got some advantages here
And I
when you
think
look
Grubb is
offense
better
against
than
offense.
Malzahn. And we talking offensive coordinators. I'll take Grubb over Malzahn any day.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, and so that's not something to be looked over, man. I think I'm high on Grubb, and I've said it before. I think he's going to bring some consistency to our offense, along with that big play ability that we already knew we had, man. And so I think Grubb's gonna put us in the best position to win. I like Kane against Malzahn. I think what Kane's done with that defense is great, man. We fly around sideline to sideline. I'm just looking for us to be more playmakers in the secondary this year and create some of those turnovers and big play touchdowns on defense that we're used to seeing. So yeah, Florida State got some new stuff, but it's not like we were sitting around twiddling our thumbs though. We got some really good guys in spots that we needed guys in. We got guys in that fit what we're trying to do, and so I still like us over them.
Yeah. Well, I do too. I mean, 13.5-point favorite. But you got to go out there and play the game. It's going to be loud at Florida
Absolutely.
State. You almost went to college there. Jake Coker talks about seeing you on like your recruiting visit. You were
Hey,
committed to Florida State with
yeah,
him.
man. I ain't gonna tell y'all what Jake did to be on that recruiting trip, man. He had those girls after me, dog. It was a scary sight. You know, and I'm gonna leave it at that. He know what he did.
Well, I'm glad that you came to Alabama. I think all of us are. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this matchup, and we'll keep previewing it this week. But from where we are today, Bama, Florida State, 2:30 this Saturday. Your biggest concern for Alabama? Biggest concern?
I mean, it's anybody's biggest concern, man. It's first game of the season. We got a bunch of people in new spots, new starting quarterback, got some new offensive linemen up front. Lost our starting running back in training camp recently. We got guys getting their first start for the first time. And that's a lot to take in for anybody, man. It's a lot to take in. It's big lights. This is big boy football. And so if guys aren't prepared, it's going to show. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to show. And so my biggest thing is, man, is just I'm just concerned about where we are as a team. Where we are as a team, you know, it's a lot of new moving pieces, and so I'm excited to see what product we put on display Saturday. You know, but like any other fan, man, I'm worried. I'm worried. I don't after last year. I don't know what we're gonna get. I don't know what we're gonna see. And I can just only hope that we've cleared up some issues and spots and that we hit the field running. And I have yet to hear anything good about special teams, even though we talked about it before.
Oh, I know
And so
man, you
I,
nailed it.
I'm concerned about that because
Mhm.
special teams can be a huge determining factor, especially on opening day when things aren't going right. You can kind of lean on that special teams group to get stuff going for you. And I mean, I haven't heard much, and so I'm worried about that a little bit. But I'm concerned about the overall team product, man. It's just new OC, new starting quarterback, new lineman in spots, new running back. We got some new receivers that's getting playing time. And so that's it, man. I'm just concerned about the overall product going into Saturday because you just don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern is just playing away from Tuscaloosa and going into Tallahassee and just all the bad things that can happen on the road. You know, if you leave these guys in it, that crowd starts to take over. You know, does Bama look like they did at Tennessee last year, a little tentative, not playing their best, or do they look like they did at Wisconsin, where they got better as the game went on? Also, Wisconsin's quarterback got hurt, but that's my biggest concern. But special teams is definitely a concern, and we'll get into that later this week. All right, biggest strength going into this game. That's our final topic for today's show. Biggest strength. What do you guys think? Get in the comments section. Tell us what you think.
Come on, I mean, you know my biased answer, man. That offensive line group, baby. That offensive line group. We got 3 players up front that are considered to be some of the best in the country. They're on awards watch list, and we need a big year out of them. Caden Proctor, our boy Parker Brailsford, Robertson up there. We gotta have them. Especially with our starting running back going down, we're gonna have to lean on them a little more, especially the young guys that's gonna get reps at running back. And I mean, your quarterback's getting his first official college football start, and so we're gonna need you. We're gonna need the O-line up front to hold it down, because I understand it's gonna be spotty. It's gonna be spotty. It may take some time for everybody else to settle down and get their mojo going, and so we're gonna have to lean on that O-line group for a bit until the entire team gets to settle into place and we get things rolling as a unit, man.
Yeah, look, I think wide receivers, and if they block and give Tyson some time to throw, there's playmakers all over the place. If I see Bama's guys covered up, and I saw that some last year, I'm going to be disappointed, because there's too much competition and too much talent for this wide receiver room not to really be explosive. Plus, you mentioned it, the offensive line is going to be really good this year. We expect that. So if all the blocking gets done, I'm looking for some playmakers to do it in the wide out spot. Hey, we got football all week to talk about, Shank.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
I'm fired up about that.
My biggest happiness is the fact that
that's right.
we got some football. All right, guys. Well, look, you guys tell us what you think. Get in the comment section. As always, make sure you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up for the video. We appreciate you guys. Also, our new AveD site is up. It's called Mick Nation. Yeah, it's after me. Giving away 2 sets of tickets to Alabama, Wisconsin. They're good seats. Bama, Wisconsin tickets. If you've never been to Tuscaloosa, if you've never been to Bryant-Denny, or you just want to go, hey, we got you covered, but you got to go there to register, pick the score. All you got to do is pick the scores of the game and get in that. We'll be doing that in the next couple weeks. We'll be giving those tickets away. But thank you guys. And also, we appreciate everyone at Pearl River Resort for putting on the show. As always, the Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, which is at Pearl River Resort. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. And we'll be ready to roll with Pearl River as this season kicks off on Saturday. So the 2 of us will be back later on in the week. We'll have some other shows and some other great guests. So make sure that you guys stay tuned right here to the Bama Tailgate Show. Shank, awesome seeing you, man. Roll Tide, everybody.
Always. Roll Tide.
This is going to be a great week.
Absolutely.
The best week right here.